Hey yo, salute to all my subscribers and a special shout out to everybody else passing through. YouTube, what's good? All right, back again with another video in this 50 video campaign 50 secrets it's okay to keep from your partner, but not really. Um, y'all got the right one with this one, and I'm gonna get straight into it too. This next one says, I think we're on like number 10. I don't even remember. This next one says, you blame them for your unhappiness. You blame your partner for your unhappiness. Article says if you're feeling unsatisfied, it may be partly due to your partner's behavior, but it's not productive or helpful to lay the blame at their feet. Such a statement will only damage their self esteem and further harm your relationship. Besides, at least some of your unhappiness may stem from your own life or a sense of disconnection from your partner. Yo, this is the point where shit gets so real. And this is the point in which I officially believe that this article is completely bullshit. The point of this article is it's 50 secrets. This article, the author of this article is saying it is okay to keep from your partner. And if you are going to tell me that you honestly agree that if your partner in their head, for whatever reason, blames you for their unhappiness, that is okay for them to keep it from you. If you agree with that, and if you disagree with me, that if you feel like you're unhappy in your relationship, and more to the point, if you feel like your partner is partially or wholly to blame for that, that you should not tell them, please exit stage left from this channel, this platform, and never return because you can't be helped. I can understand all the other prior arguments that I made for why I feel like a person should communicate certain things to their partners and the other 8 or 9 secrets that we touched on so far. But this one, if you really don't think that you're sitting up in your relationship unhappy and you feel like partly part of it or all of the reason is because of your partner, and you don't think that you should have a conversation with them about that, you don't belong in relationships and you don't belong on this platform because that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I typically don't try and shame people when it comes to certain shit because people learn things in their own time, and as people are exposed to different experiences, hopefully with enough time they'll come to their senses as to what things are and are not best for them and for the relationships and the people they interact with. But this right here is so clearly self-explanatory and so obvious that if you really think a conversation is not needed with your partner, with this one here, if you blame them for your unhappiness, you don't belong in relationships. You don't at all. Like, I can't even hold you. I can't even be diplomatic about this shit. You don't belong in relationships. If you are going to keep, because this is the shit that directly leads to people cheating and lying, and then later on down the line when they get caught, they want to say, oh well, I wasn't happy or within myself, or I felt like you didn't do this or didn't do that for me, and I wasn't happy. Don't ever put that shit off on your partner. If you are unhappy in your relationship, that is something that you need to check within yourself. You need to have a conversation about it so your partner knows what's going on and who they're dealing with, because happiness, personal happiness is a journey. It's a personal quest that is between you and whatever higher power you deal with or believe in, and whatever means of self-reflection, meditation, prayer, however you want to call it. That is between you and your process. That's where your happiness comes from. Happiness does not come from the external, does not come from without. That comes from within. And no partner anywhere is ever responsible for your happiness. If you are in a relationship and if you are codependent on your partner and dependent on them keeping you whole, making you happy, they will never be able to live up to that because no person is responsible for that. I'm responsible for my happiness. Now, if I'm in a relationship or a situation with someone, if I have a partner, I'm looking for them to complement my life, to complement, you know, my current state of mind. I'm looking for them to add to what's already there. But happiness is these things are built from the foundation. Another person can provide you with that. And that's a problem too. We come into relationships already not happy with ourselves, already not happy with life, and we put the onus on the people that we interact with in our relationships to fill some void that's not filled. And a lot of times we don't even know what what those voids stem from. And when you come into a relationship already not completely happy within yourself, then you naturally start to expect that person to find and fix those voids and those, fill those holes and those gaps. And when they can't, then we blame the people for why we aren't happy in our relationships. And that's fucking bullshit. And any article, any therapist, any self-proclaimed relationship expert who tells you that shit, that is on you at all, is dead wrong. Dead wrong. There's nothing to even discuss at all. Nobody's responsible for your happiness. You can say all you want to say about men, women who need to do more in their relationships, who need to be more appreciative of their partners, who need to put more of an effort in because, it's about what you can bring to the table and compromise and all those things. And that's great. And they're all true. But nobody is responsible for a person's happiness. That shit starts and it ends with you. And anybody who's ever with me, I would want to know the second they even think that I'm responsible for some happiness that they have. Because as soon as someone has that conversation with me, I'm finding the door and I'm walking through it. Because you can't help a person like that. And there's only problems that can come from that. Because there are too many people running around here who think that it's their partner's responsibility to make them happy. No, it's not. No, it's not. I don't even know who started that shit. I don't know if it started as a lighthearted joke or if it was just said but had a deeper meaning and nobody bothered to listen to the elaboration. Nobody's ever responsible for making you happy. That's your responsibility first, last, and foremost. Period. And there's so many broken people jumping from relationship to relationship, trying to find what they didn't get from the last one in the next one. It's not until you realize where real happiness comes from. And it's not until you realize that you need to do the work yourself, for yourself, on yourself. And only when you come into a relationship whole do you have enough of you to offer to someone else. That's when shit turns around for everyone. It's not about finding the perfect match. It's not about, oh, there's one person out there for me. No, it's about you being your best self, coming into that relationship, that person, with full knowledge of who you are, full knowledge of where you've been, and full knowledge of where you would like to go. Then you have something to offer someone. Then you understand exactly what it takes to be in a relationship. And until that shit happens, it's never going to be, no relationship's ever going to have the potential that it could because you are looking to people to be things that they cannot be. And everybody will fall short of that because it's not their job. It's not their responsibility. And if you don't tell them that, you don't deserve to be in a relationship with anyone. Period. So this one here, you blame them for your unhappiness. Listen, even if let's say it's a situation where you did come into that relationship fine. You did come into that relationship fully understanding what you needed, what you wanted, and you were perfectly okay and happy within yourself as far as your life goes, or as far as how you see yourself. And because of the nature of the relationship and different things that transpires over the course of that relationship, you feel like that partner does things to start chipping away at you know you being see we have to start wording it differently. Someone can be at fault for your unhappiness in the relationship. No one can be at fault for your unhappiness. That's a general thing. That there's far too many components that go into that, and nobody externally is responsible for that. But if this article is talking about someone being unhappy with the relationship, but it should have said that. It should have specified that. But if we take for granted that that's what it's saying, which I don't believe it is, but if it is, um, then I still disagree with the article, because that's not something you keep from someone. Whether you think it is the case, whether you think it may have something to do with your personal life, or whether you think it's, your partner's fault, but you don't want to listen. If you blame your partner for a second for any type of unhappiness in that relationship, is going to affect them. And if you blame them, you have an obligation. You are required to tell them, because you're already affecting the relationship if you blame them for something. How can you blame a partner for something, but then at the same time not tell that partner what it is you blame them for, and what it is that blame correlates to? Because that partner may be totally oblivious to the fact that they did shit to you at all. Because if you're not willing to tell them you blame them for your unhappiness, then I'm going to go out on a limb and probably say you may not have told them what the fuck it was in the first place they did in order to make you first unhappy in the first place. And this is the type of shit I'm talking about. And this article is very dangerous from what I've seen so far. And that's why, that is the sole reason why I'm doing this 50 video campaign on this channel. Because I don't care if it only reaches 10 people, or if it reaches 100 or 100,000. I don't give a fuck. Even if it reaches one person, you need to immediately use this article to reassess again how you are approaching your relationship. Because there are some things on this list that I guess are somewhat, you know, okay to kind of, the lines are blurred there anyway. But then there are major things like this shit right here. You blame your partner for your unhappiness. There's no in between or playing the fence on this one. If you are not going to have a conversation with your partner, exit that relationship. Because if you blame someone for your unhappiness and you don't tell them about it, you don't have a conversation with them about it, it's your fault. You were the reason for why that relationship does not work. You were the reason for why that relationship should fail. Period. And there's really nothing else. There's nobody who can disagree with me on this shit. If you do, I'm just gonna look at you and say, sorry for you, but you shouldn't be in a relationship, and you probably are not in a healthy relationship, and you probably never will be, because this is just the wrong thinking to have. I'm sorry, but it just is. This is just one of those things that I can't even compute in my head, because I'm sick of people who try to come at me with this dumb shit, and not having it. Can't do it. All right, so I'll be back at y'all with another one shortly. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the playlist, 50 Secrets It's Okay to Keep from Your Partner, now on this channel. It's a 50 video campaign. Deadline is Friday. I believe that this might be number, I don't know, 9 or 10. About 40 more to go. So they're going to come quickly. And the ones like these, when I come across, I have to take a second and be a little bit more deliberate, take a little bit more time, because that type of shit just fucking burns me up. And I would love to track down the person that wrote this article and find out what the fuck they were thinking with that shit. But anyway, I don't pretend to know everything. I just know what I know. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about this one. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace and love.